Okay, so what I'm going to be sharing very briefly with you is some of the ways that AI is being used in UCEN Manchester and HE sort of generally. It's going to be quite a quick view of each because I'm going to talk to you about 3 examples that lecturers have been talking to me about things they've been using. That's ChatGPT to support for feedback, a tool called Elicit, which they've been using to help students with their preparing for dissertations. And I'll take a quick look at some of the image generators that people are using. So ChatGPT, as lots of people have said really well and explained and demonstrated before me, the specific prompts are really important. But what people have been using, what some of the uses that people have been getting out of ChatGPT is supporting with feedback. And this is just an example that I did earlier. People putting in the learning outcomes and then using the prompts to drill down. And this one I used drill down, giving the feedback for one particular learning outcome. I asked it to give for good, excellent, good, and poor. That was just the language I used. You could use any language, obviously. And I regenerated that several times so that it got I got different examples. People have been using that to personalize as well, put particular things, not people's work, not putting people's work in, but just getting general ideas from the learning outcomes. And then in terms of personalizing the output, you can use it to get some constructive comments to add to the feedback. So again, you can see in the examples, an excellent piece of work, the feedback, and what you can do to build on that. Now, this is very general. I didn't have a piece of work. Next to me, I just had the learning outcomes. People have been doing it much more specifically. And generally, people have said to me when they've been doing this, it doesn't save time as such on marking work and giving feedback, but they felt that they were giving a much better quality of feedback because it was more varied and they could, regenerate the feedback. So they were getting different examples and not giving the same feedback to everybody. Okay, as I said, quick introduction to what people are doing. Another thing that people are using in HE and in UCEN is a tool called Elicit, and I've got the link down at the bottom, which is a research tool. And people are using this to support students with beginning their dissertations or any piece of work, really. And it's really interesting. You put in your research question. I did an example of what impact is AI having on research in HE. The free version gives you a summary, as you can see, of the abstracts of 4 papers. You can change the papers, delete them, but you can only ever have 4 at one time. So it gives you this summary. And then below it, for the 4 papers that you've chosen, you get an annotated bibliography. This has real implications for how we're assessing students, because sometimes students, part of your assessment might be an annotated bibliography. But this gives, and I don't think you can probably see it in detail, but it gives you the paper, a general summary, and then you can choose what columns you want. Here I chose methodology, and I can't even remember what the last one is because I can't see it. But I think it was the general. Oh, anyway, it's there. But it's people who have been using it have told me that it's been a really good starting point for students to then go off in different directions. You can, obviously, the usual thing when you're looking at when you're doing some research, you look at the paper, then you look at who's been referenced in that particular paper, and going off and finding lots of information about it. So the implications for this, as I said earlier, is we really need to think of what we're assessing and how we're assessing, because a lot of the work that we would be looking for students to do, like in your literature review, having that summary is being done by AI. The final one I wanted to look at was the use of the image generators this is something that the digital media lecturers have talked to me about, and it's kind of about equitable access. And this is something that I think we need to be considering. Who's got access to what? So, for example, what they would like to access in digital media is Midjourney, but they can't because it's really valid reasons, but it has to be done through something called Discord. And it's not possible to do that in in CCM or through the LTE computers, etc. So they're using Firefly, Adobe Firefly, and there is a difference in the images generated. So the left is Firefly, the right is Midjourney. And I've got another example. Left
1 minute,
Firefly.
please, Fran. Just 1 minute, please, Fran.
Yep.
Is that okay?
Left Firefly, right Midjourney. And the idea is, how are we making sure that our students are prepared for the workplace? They've got equitable access to the AI that they need to have access to. And that's all from me.